widespread support on both sides of the House for this development.
Question number 11, the Honourable Annette King.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question's to the Minister of Housing. What response has he received to the Smarter, Faster, Fairer tenancy service, which provides an 0800 phone customer service centre response to people with housing needs?
The Honourable Phil Heatley.
Well, Mr Speaker, since the 0800 service was set up under Labour in 2003, it's now grown to handle almost 1 million calls a year, which seems like a pretty good response to me.
The Honourable Annette King.
Does he stand by Housing New Zealand's claim very recently that the new Smarter, Faster, Fairer 0800 service to Housing New Zealand clients will provide a better and bigger service through just one phone call and with customers getting help straight away?
The Honourable Phil Heatley.
Well, Mr Speaker, clearly statistically it shows that more and more people are using the 0800 service since it was begun in 2003 under Labour. It's becoming more and more popular. More than almost 1 million people are using it. They're voting with their fingers.
Supplementary question,
The Honourable Annette King.
Mr Speaker, what's his response to the social worker who contacted him recently outlining her experience with the new 0800 call centre service under a national government, which involved her making 9 phone calls and 2 personal visits to Housing New Zealand office before she got to leave a message on a staff member's answer phone after waiting 7 minutes on the line to leave that message?
The Honourable Phil Heatley.
Well, Mr Speaker, as I said, there's over 1 million or almost 1 million calls a year now. In this particular case, the corporation shares my view that they dropped the ball. This is unacceptable. They've assured me that they'll be working hard to ensure there's a better standard of service in the future. But I have to say that given the amount of calls to the 0800 service, this could in fact be Labour's most popular initiative ever.
The Honourable Annette King.
Supplementary question, Mr Speaker. What impact will the loss of 70 jobs from Housing New Zealand and the closure of their offices, except for arranged appointments for housing needs assessment, have on his new Smarter, Faster, Fairer service to Housing New Zealand clients?
The Honourable Phil Heatley.
Well, Mr Speaker, clients are now getting a much better service. When they want to know how much rent they owe or if they can get their window fixed, they can pick up the phone rather than wander down to the bus stop, wait half an hour, pay a fare, go into the office, wait for an appointment just to say the same thing. So there is much more improvement, and as I say, it's so popular we simply have to take that at face value on the statistics.
The Honourable Annette
Question,
King.
Mr Speaker. Does he agree with a Housing New Zealand spokesperson who said today our customers now feel comfortable? They have a relationship with Housing New Zealand, not Mary Brown, the tenancy officer. And if so, could he explain how it's possible to have a relationship with a corporation rather than a person?
The Honourable Phil Heatley.
Well, Mr Speaker, the 0800 number does help with the relationship because they can get answers quickly. I do know there is room for an improvement because her colleague, Shane Jones, wants it to be changed and improved by turning it into an 0900 number. I actually think that's inappropriate. We won't be doing that.
The Honourable Annette King.
What a weak answer, Mr
Order.
Speaker. What a weak answer.
No.
Well, you shouldn't have allowed it.
Order. Order. No, the member knows she shouldn't start a question that way. The Honourable Annette King.
Well, supplementary question, Mr Speaker.
Supplementary question.
Is he aware that members of Parliament who carry out considerable constituency work on behalf of Housing New Zealand clients have been told under his new Smarter, Faster, Fairer policy they will no longer have direct contact with a Housing New Zealand manager and must now deal with the 0800 call centre? And is this the more efficient service that he envisaged?
The Honourable Phil Heatley.
Mr Speaker, for very simple queries, I encourage members of Parliament, State House tenants and others working for their behalf to use the 0800 number. Where there are more complex queries, then they are more than welcome to sit down with tenancy managers and work these through.
Point of order, Mr.
Point
Speaker.
of order, the Honourable Annette.
Mr. Speaker, I seek leave to table an email to the Honourable Phil Heatley on the 5th of March from a social worker expressing her dissatisfaction with Housing New Zealand's new processes, not the Labour government's, the new processes under his watch.
Leave is sought to table that document. Is there any objection? There is no objection. Question number 12, Jamie Lee Rice.
Mr. Speaker, to the Minister for ACC.